Welcome to the White Rabbit Podcast, everyone. It's good to have you with us. And out there, we have a guest on the podcast today.
Yes.
Sevil Kubilay. Sevil lives in the Netherlands, where she has been for 7 or 8 years. So, Sevil, say hi to everyone.
Hi.
And let me give you a bit of background on Sevil. She runs a company called Aurelia X, and Aurelia X is a consulting company that uses AI to help companies understand their market better and develop better go-to-market strategies, stuff like that. She's also a mentor to startup companies via Istanbul's ITU Çekirdek, an organization that Alper and I are both quite familiar with. In fact, we were discussing it just before this recording. And also, in addition to ITU Çekirdek, Sevil is also mentoring at Koç University's K-Works program. And before making her own transition into startup land, Sevil was an EMEA marketing or regional marketing manager at Bosch Security Systems. And she made this transition from the established corporate world, Bosch, to the startup world, Aurelia X, very recently, just in the past couple months. And that transition is something that we'll dig into in a moment. But first, Sevil, help me wrap up this intro. Is there anything that I forgot to mention that you think our listeners should know about?
Thanks so much, Matt. It was a great summary of my background, and I really am totally fine with this. And I just want to add something about this. And actually, I have 20 years corporate experience in different companies and in global Fortune 500 companies. And after working in Turkey, in the Netherlands, and a little bit experience in the US, I'm just settled in the Netherlands, and I started my company, and which I'm quite passionate about. So I just like to share it every time. I'm also, as you said, part of the universities at the moment, which I started a few months ago. So as a mentor to startup companies at the pre-seed stage. So which is really fun for me, and I really love to support them, startup companies in their journey, and also I have similar journey on a different way. So this is really about me, and thanks for sharing with everyone.
Okay, and one more thing before we get started. If our listeners want to get in touch with you after the podcast, where can they find you?
Yeah, I think LinkedIn is really the best and easiest way to find me, Sevil Kubilay, on LinkedIn. And I'm quite responsive and active on LinkedIn. So that's the reason I think it would be just easy enough. And I can just also share my other details on LinkedIn later. So if it would be necessary, of course. Yeah.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you. And so now let's dive into our main discussion for the day. And, this is, of course, a presentation and communications podcast. So at some point, we're going to want to hear about things like, how are your customer-facing presentations different now that you are running a very different company size? But to start us out, let's back up a little bit and, maybe set the stage a little bit. And tell us a little bit about this transition from big corporate land to startup land, and what have you noticed so far about how those two things are different?
Yeah, sure, Matt. I think this is a really very relevant question at my situation. And the thing is, of course, the main thing is it is the mindset. So I think I needed to change my mindset just from the beginning. I need to switch it to another life. Okay, now life starts on a different level, and this was what I did. And but of course, the main challenge was I had to be really courageous to do that. So because all the uncertainties are there, and especially in AI world at the moment, because so all the technological developments they are really being developed fast nowadays, and so you are just part of this competition out. Because at the moment, whatever we do, it's mostly about growth. We support companies with our growth applications, solutions. It is our main target. But on the other hand, we are doing it with AI, so with AI native solutions. And in this area, so there are many companies. So that's the reason it was a little bit really uncertain, maybe than before. And the other thing is, of course, whenever you work at a corporate company, you have a team, you have everything has a structure. So you just need to follow the structure. You don't really bring yourself to the team out every time, right? Because sometimes, of course, you bring your ideas, but it has to be aligned with the team, with the organization, with the company culture. And so you just need to adjust yourself to the company's needs and of course customers' needs. But everything has a kind of culture, structure, and so you need to be part of this big picture. But whenever you are out, whenever you have your startup, then you are out, but you start with your ideas and you bring your vision, your mission, your passion. So whatever you have in you, you can bring out. So this is, I think, the biggest difference here. But of course, this is the nicest thing I can share, of course, because then you can bring yourself out. This is the most valuable part for me to be a startup. But on the other hand, you have to face all the risks, right? So all the threats, all the uncertainties, and you need to make a good plan. So you need to be successful, kind of, because just from the beginning, I knew, and I read also many books about startup. 90% of the companies they fail. 90%.
Yeah.
It's a big number, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I had to be in the 10%, but how? So you had to solve this question and you had to answer this. And there's no one answer, and you never know that if it would happen. So this is kind of tryout process, I think, in general. So, but if you like to try out so different things and learn from your mistakes and don't give up. So I think it's a good journey for anyone who has this mindset. So this is the reason why I started with mindset.
You mentioned something earlier, and I kind of picked up on the key word. You said you have to be courageous, and I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot when people they're in the corporate world and they know they want to go out on their own, but taking that leap of faith or building up the courage to make that move, they have seems to be a really big stumbling block for them, or a really common stumbling block. So tell us more, and like you in particular, how did you build up the courage to make this move?
Yeah. Okay, that's a very good question, but I had to be a little bit open and honest, I think, with my history. Yeah, I think there's a little bit sad story actually behind this. So I feel like a little bit uncomfortable with this, but I will share anyway, because I think there are moments in your life which will bring you, okay, this is the time for me, so I need to change this also. But anyway, so just I was thinking of, okay, I always want to do more in the last couple of years, even though I was working for Bosch. I was kind of happy. I was happy with team. I was happy with what was going on and with my manager and everything. It was all fine, but I was feeling like something is really missing. I need passion. I really like to feel my passion again. So for my work, and I really missed that for some time. Not really for a long time, I would say, but it was kind of a year for me. So just that I started to think about this. And so also okay, there's a little bit, as I said, sad story, but in January, I just lost one of my friends. She was 39, sorry for that. Anyway, so this was, I think, a moment for me to feel like, okay, that's not good. That's not good. So, and it happens, so just whenever this kind of thing happens at this very early age, so you don't have really time to think about things like, okay, I have 10 years to think about it. You don't feel like this. So just, you really started to change your mindset. Okay, now I don't have maybe that much time. I never know. But then what can I do with this wish in my heart? So I can change it maybe with something. Just I need to take action. I have to be courageous, as you said, just from the beginning. And then I knew what I wanted, but I didn't want to really focus on that really for a long time. So just I didn't have this moment because, with your life, you are quite busy with work and child and other things. So just you are full of
Sure.
Kind of a robot, right? So just we live life sometimes with our responsibilities, full of responsibilities. But then this time, this loss really helped me to think on a different way. I lost many friends, many family members also. It was also sad, but this time it was different because it was a really very different. She was so young, and I knew her dreams for the future, and this just changed my mindset. And I said, okay, so take action, and it won't be bad, you know that for sure. So you don't have to wait. And yes, I didn't wait. So just this was how it happened for my case.
Yeah, I think, come to think of it, because as I was hearing you describe this story, I was thinking, well, how did I make that transition? Because I made that transition at one point myself too, and Alper did too. And I was thinking, in my case, it was also courage, but it was, in my case, it was the courage of desperation, and I'll get to that in a second. But I guess
Yeah.
everybody has a different way in.
Yeah.
And but what I mean by courage of my courage was the courage of desperation. It was just like realizing that I love what I do, but I can't do it for anyone else. So it was like there is no other choice. You know, people talk about the necessity of having a plan B and a plan C, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm a big proponent of that. Unfortunately, actually spend most of my life on plan C, but living on plan C. But there was, in my leaving the corporate world, in my leaving the corporate world, there was no plan B or C. It was, this is the only option that I have. I'm going to do this one because I can't do anything else. I'll be miserable if I try to do anything else. Yeah. So anyway, Alper, before we dive into the presentation and communications aspect of this, before we move on to that, do you have questions on your mind at this point that you want to run by Sevil?
I have so many things that I want to run by, and I didn't have them 10 minutes ago. But at one point, they just kept coming. So, Sevil, I'm going to share them with you. But first of all, I would like to thank you for taking a human moment to share the story. And I can see that it was very touching for you, and it was touching for us as well. And I'm so maybe inspired is not the right word, but and maybe fascinated, but in a very spiritual way, in how other people's life journeys can make such a big difference on our life journeys. And I'm almost happy to see that such a great loss can create such an inspirational moment for you to take on a journey. So I'm being very careful with my words, because it's always so difficult to limit the energy that I want to convey in just plain English. But I think it was a very inspirational moment for you to share this. So I would like to thank you. And before you did that, I had some questions on my mind, but I'm going to come back to them in a second. And I want to ask you, because you shared something on LinkedIn a couple of days ago about Shinkoin Temple in Japan. And I think it was an amazing photo, and you talked about the difference between ikigai and the way we usually know it from gazillion LinkedIn posts, like all these concentric circles and everything. But you had a completely different take on it with the help of the reverend, the priest. I would want to ask you about that. How would you explain that?
Yeah, of course. And so I like reading books about Japanese culture, and ikigai was one of my, actually, I think, biggest takeaway from this kind of books, because it was helping me kind of to think, okay, I need to find my ikigai. So I had this always in my mind. But I was always questioning one thing: why should I just earn money? So yeah, why should I do something with this? So why should it be financial? So I was really questioning this a lot, because it wasn't also aligned with Japanese culture in my eyes. So then I was really questioning this all the time. But whenever I visited the temple, and so I just, it was one of my first questions to Taka, the priest Taka, and he just told me, Sevil, come on. So this is not true. So just actually, so our culture is kind of a little bit changed. Actually, he told me basically this word. Okay, this came from Silicon Valley. So they found this consultant and they just
I
created
had a
this
hunch
story.
that it would be from the West. Yes.
Yeah, and they created this story to just motivate the startup companies to focus on the financial part. And so just this is not true. This is not true at all. So just this is about just what you love. If you do what you love, so this is just your ikigai, and that's enough, and that's it. So it was so simple, and so yeah, I was really impressed after hearing this, and I was a little bit also shocked because
Mhm.
I really digested this information for a long time.
Mhm.
And but yeah, I'm happy that I have this information with me now. And yeah, this was maybe this can be also helpful for the others. This is the also reason why I wanted to share with others.
Yeah, I think it's a nice wake-up call to be conditioned to thinking that, okay, there is something that I love, but I also need to make money out of it. Like that's saying, like, do what you love and you will never have to work for the rest of your life, which I'm not sure is very realistic, by the way, but
Yeah.
I found it very refreshing when you shared this because I had similar sensations as well. And there's something else that I want to ask you before giving the word back to Matt. I have my mentor here in Barcelona, Professor Matthew Carenzo, and he also does speeches about the journey of entrepreneurship. And I love it when he says, for example, when you're thinking if you should start a company, and especially if you're in the professional world, he says, I can guarantee three things that are going to happen. One, you're going to work so much more. Two, you're going to make so much less. And three, you're going to sleep so much less. Do you think are you going through that phase? Are they happening with you? I'm very curious to hear about those.
Yeah, that's true actually. So yeah, I really work a lot. Yeah, that's true. So just,
Mm-hmm.
and I think there is no stop for me. But not for me. I mean, just anyone in this journey because yeah, as I said at the beginning, maybe it is about being a startup, but
Mm-hmm.
also being in this AI dominated environment. I think both would be the reason. And yeah, that's true. So it's really a time for me that I really work crazily. And you know,
Mm-hmm.
in the Netherlands, you have 30 days vacation days, weekdays. So yeah, weekdays.
Weekdays. So like
Yeah,
six
so
weeks.
it means 6 weeks, and even it
Wow.
was like 40 days before for me. And
Mm-hmm.
there are some special contracts, so it can also happen like up to 40 days. But just imagine, so I had like 2 months vacation, and so now I don't have vacation, and I won't have anyway. But
Yeah.
I'm happy. So just I'm happy with this decision.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but the flexibility is there. So I think this flexibility helps you to feel less stressful about this
Mm-hmm.
change.
And
So
I
yeah.
and I would like to add that I think what you're doing is so respectable. And here I think we should make a clear distinction between Matt and me and you because we quit the corporate world, but we started just our own businesses and we're solopreneurs. You're a startup founder, you're creating employment, you are creating jobs, and you're creating something bigger than I think both of us will ever make. So, with that, I would like to show my appreciation and respect for this decision that you made.
Thank you. Thank you. Great to hear.
So that said, we should probably move on to the presentation and communication stuff because we could Alper and I could sit here all day long and pepper Sevil with questions about the startup world. But eventually, we've got to get down to presentations and communication. So I have a question about that for you, Sevil. You're coming from, and this first one is about building trust, since that's something that we talk a lot here on the podcast. And I imagine, I don't know if it's correct or not, but so I guess we should go with what you say. But I imagine initially that, back in the big corporate world, you mentioned you mentioned the word Bosch, and the trust angels sing. It's however, when you are a startup, you can't just utter that one word and then all of a sudden people trust you and you have a gazillion years of reputation to ride on. So what are some of the ways that you've found so far that you can do that?
Yeah, that's really a very good part, and this was something at the beginning which I really didn't think through. So when I started, so how I should build trust, it wasn't my question when I started, I would say. But of course, whenever you're at a corporate company, when you share a presentation with a customer or anyone, of course, the trust is there already. So you never have to think about the trust topic. And the brand is there. So just many times, even the company customers, they just want to meet with you because of the brand. So because they trust you, and there are some reliable brands in the market, and they just want to buy their products from one of them, right? So just you are kind of the representative to a little bit explain the products and how it works and what they need, just to make them align with you. So just to make them, to enlighten them. But on the other hand, normally just this trust topic is not a topic actually during a meeting. So just it's not a big deal.
Sure.
But whenever, yes, as you said, so building trust, this is the most important thing. And it starts with you, actually, with the founder.
Okay.
And so at the beginning, I had some meetings with the marketing agency because we were we were planning the website and the messaging, what kind of feature I see for the company and this kind of things. And they were always reminding me, Sevil, we have to put something about you on the website. I was saying, no, I don't want it. I don't want to be visible on the website or anywhere. So I will be just behind it. No, Sevil, we need you, basically. So we need to put your photo. Or I was really rejecting it all the time. Still, I reject it, by the way. But I didn't change my mind about that. But still, I understood the value of me. It's just about being visible, so to the market. Because if people understand me better, if they see my values, if they just trust me, so it is easier to explain the products at a later stage, because then you build the trust, and this is the second phase now. So you can talk about the products. And so this is actually very important. And but anyway, when I have meetings with customers, what I realized, maybe because of my background, or maybe because of my personality, because maybe I can find their pain and just touch their pain. So I can build the trust during the meeting. So then I just have good, positive meetings at the end. But I can't say it, but I can say at least one thing. I think my background, the 20 years corporate experience, this is kind of something people values easily. So I think this is a kind of story why I also feel like that I had to explain a little bit more to gain this trust at the beginning also.
Matt, I caught something that I cannot let go, so I'm going to jump in.
Go for it.
Sevil, you mentioned that you didn't feel very comfortable putting yourself on the website, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Is it still the same? Because I can identify with that. Did you find out why? Did you go over that? Or what's the situation right now?
I think in my vision, I like to be part of a team still. So maybe this is still corporate mindset. And I can change it. And it's not easy, by the way. So just from day one, I can say, okay, I can be more in front of the company and I will be representing the company. Still, I can't say it. Maybe it is also about my personality, because I'm normally a humble person. So I don't like.
I was going to ask that, yeah. Did it create sensation of arrogance, for example? If I put my face onto it, it's going to be like a big picture. It's going to be on the website.
Yeah.
But I want this to be part of the team. So yeah, so many personal things are going into the picture there, right?
Yeah, indeed. So I really want to be visible with my ideas, with my strategy, vision, but not really with my face. I'm not a model, right? So I'm just building a company and that's it. So just that's the reason I don't feel like that it is the best way. And I want to do everything with team, by the way. Also, I'm a kind of person. I also, just from the day one, I told the team, okay, there is no founder CEO title, so I really don't like it. We are all colleagues here, and I am open to hear anything from your side. So
That's great.
this is how I work, and I think it explains me maybe a little bit my personality to you, so why I really am hesitant about this.
So if one day Time decided to put you on the cover as a person of the year, you wouldn't be very happy about that.
Yeah, of course I would be happy for that, but then maybe I would feel like, okay, maybe it is the time. So, and time changes and I have to accept it. So it's not really more than this, I think. So it would be like this for me.
Okay.
But I think, thanks, Matt and Alper again for this invitation. It was also a little bit step for me just to join this podcast. It is my first podcast. And it is in English. I'm also a little bit surprised with it. I've never thought about this before. And also, I got invitation for another podcast and TV program. And I was also thinking, okay, Sevil, you will change yourself in time, I think, your mindset. It will come later, but don't push yourself about this. So you don't like it maybe at the moment, it's okay. So just maybe later you will like it even more. Not to show yourself off, but just to share your opinions. And your experience for that.
But we're honored to be the first.
Yeah, we're
in a long line of future appearances. The White Rabbit was the first one.
Yeah, indeed. So I'm really happy for that.
Yeah, it is an honor. And like Sevil, when I think of the benefits that we've got out of doing this podcast, I think the biggest benefit that I've found, because we've been doing this, Alper, how long have we been doing this podcast? We've been doing it for a couple of years now, right?
Well, I think 3 years.
3 years, yeah. It's been 3 years now. So I call it the benefit of no one's going to die, because, initially you're afraid and you're like, oh, if I say this, if I say that, something really bad is going to happen. And then it doesn't. And you just kind of learn. You just kind of learn that these worst fears that you have in your head, most of them don't even come true.
That's true, actually. So I also feel like this in time, but sometimes you just need time, So just everyone can change, of course. They can change their opinions, but sometimes you just need time.
And we're going to have to wrap up in a few minutes, but I wanted to shoehorn a final question here for you, and that is, where do you draw the line? Because you mentioned that you want to be known for your ideas. You mentioned that you're a team-oriented person, but on the other hand, you also mentioned that the marketing agency was pushing you to put more of yourself on the website. So where are you these days personally drawing the line? Like, I'll talk about this, but I won't talk about that kind of stuff.
Very good question, Matt. So just, maybe I think this is the only question that I can't really reply very good today. It's a journey for me, I would say, Matt. So maybe whenever I have more information, more input, then I just try to think about this and find the most efficient way for the company. And so I think nowadays I just choose to do whatever is necessary for the company. So instead of just thinking about my feelings or just so I'm just really changing it nowadays.
Good point.
By the way, something to put your mind at ease. We didn't say it today, but in all those recordings, since they're not live, for example, you can find yourself in a situation, maybe I shouldn't have said it like that, or maybe I realized that's not the amount of information I want to share at this moment. It's more than okay to say, guys, okay, let's skip this part. Let's edit this part out. So
that's true.
And let's take it out of the picture. So that is something to put your mind at ease.
Yeah, indeed. That's very helpful. Thanks so much for that.
Yeah. So Alper, we're gonna wrap up here in a few minutes, but before we do you have any other questions for Sevil?
We're going to wrap up, but I would love to catch up, Sevil, with you in 6 months, for example, after the new year, to see how things are going and have you on our podcast again. And by the time, maybe you will have appeared in hundreds of places and you will be like, okay, you need to get in line. So
Mhm.
talk to my
So
assistant for an
yeah,
appointment, and
I'm
I'll
not
try
that
to
person.
fit
No,
you
no,
in.
no, not really. So it won't
Eh,
happen like this. I don't expect it, but I will be happy to join again. So, but also another thing is in 6 months we have really huge targets for the company, and
Mhm.
maybe also this would be good for other startups. What I experienced, it would be good or bad. It doesn't matter, but I think the experience is really valuable for other startups and my learnings
Mhm.
from this journey. So yeah, I think I would love to share it with others, and of course with you first.
That would
Yeah.
be so
Excellent.
nice.
And so we'll wrap it up here for today. But I just want to mention that it's quite an honor, Alper, to realize that wow, we are the first podcast that Sevil has guested on.
Yes, yes, it is
Wow.
actually. I mean, words are not usually enough to describe it, but it's such a pleasant and positive feeling for us.
Well, so anyway,
Thanks so much.
yeah. So thank you very much for joining us today, Sevil, and
Mhm.
wish you the best. And like Alper said, in 6 months when you're famous and you're on the cover of magazines, we'll be honored to tell the world that yeah, we were the first guest podcast.
Yeah, hopefully it will be true, Matt. So I really wish that. Yeah, so let's see how it will go on. But thank you so much for your invitation first.
Thank you for
And
joining us.
so you're helping me to have this first podcast experience together with you. And it was really very nice for me to have time together with you. And so, yeah, I really appreciate it. So
Thank
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 you
you.
you.
Thank
again.
you.
Thank you.
So, dear listeners, thank you for tuning in today. And Alper and I will see you in the next episode
Yeah.
then.
See you next time.
All right. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.